Before we begin to go through the procedures for checking and adjusting the primary chain, I want you to go ahead and remove the oil from the inner primary chain cover. Once you've done that, go ahead and remove the primary cover from the motor. For this particular example, I'm going to use a motor that I'm disassembling for an overhaul now. The procedure will be the same on a 4-speed and a 5-speed. To better illustrate the amount of movement that your chain should make for that 3/4 of an inch, I've taken the liberty of installing a ruler so that we can actually visualize the free movement of the chain. I've placed this ruler approximately halfway across the travel of the chain, and this is where you should be taking your chain adjustment from too. Now let's go and see just how much this chain is out. If you notice, the bottom link lines up with the mark at the 2-inch mark, and I'm going to go ahead and raise this chain, and it's coming up to 1 inch, again through the bottom of the link. So what we're looking at here is about 1 inch of free play, which is too much. We want to lower this adjustment so that it's approximately 3/4 of an inch, but no less than 1/2 inch. Now to do this, we're going to loosen the bolt on the adjuster shoe, which is right here, which is 9/16 of an inch. I'm going to go ahead and move my ruler for a minute. And when I loosen this, I'm just going to loosen it slightly so that I can move the shoe up and down with some friction. We don't want the shoe to necessarily fall all the way. Okay, I can feel it. It's free of the backing plate right here. Now, I'm going to raise it 1 notch on the backing plate and recheck the adjustment. Now, if you'll notice, this particular shoe is raised right, I don't know if we can get the camera in here. It's raised up so that it's coming up close to the screw. Now, this tells me that this chain is pretty stretched. It shouldn't, the adjuster shouldn't be this high. We may not be able to raise it any higher. So let's see right now where we're at. I'm going to tighten this nut down, not all the way, just snug it so it doesn't move. I'm going to reinstall this ruler right by the nut. I notice that we're sitting up at approximately 1 3/4 inches. And I'm going to go ahead and raise this chain now. Let's see where we're at. Okay, we're sitting at what I would call a loose 3/4 of an inch. Now, normally this would be okay, but I'm somewhat concerned about the height of the adjuster shoe. So at this point, I would recommend that this chain be replaced. However, if you're bucks down and you want to get by for a while, you may be able to salvage this chain for one more adjustment. Now, the next step that I'm going to show you is how to check the rest of the chain. This is something that's overlooked by a lot of mechanics in the shop as well as people at home. And that is that we've already adjusted our chain right here. I'm going to use this yellow pen to mark this area of the chain like so. What I'm going to do next is to turn the nut on the compensator sprocket in a counterclockwise direction, and approximately 6 inches at a turn. And I'm going to feel the chain right over the adjuster shoe each time I stop. Now, the reason why I'm doing this is because I'm looking for tight and loose spots. Now, this is I can feel it that right here we have a tight spot, even though it doesn't look like it. Okay. And usually when a primary chain wears, it does not wear evenly. This is loose here. And we're starting to tighten up a little bit. Now I'll continue to bring this chain around till I get the yellow mark back over the adjuster. Now when you're turning your motor will be under compression. Make sure that as you turn it that you get it off the compression stroke, otherwise your chain will be tight and you'll consider it to be a bad chain when that may not be the case. Okay, we're back over our mark here and you can see how loose this chain is. Now if this were a normal chain, I would consider this chain to be properly adjusted and I'd leave it alone. However, for this particular chain, I'm going to recommend that the customer replace it. Like again, I've asked you to perform this test at least once a year, perhaps twice a year, depending on the amount of miles that you travel. And you'll find that your engine will run a lot better and you'll save a lot of wear and tear on your clutch and on your rear sprockets. Now, having finished checking the height adjustment, you could go ahead and finish tightening up the nut on the shoe until it's snug. And if you have that electric start, don't forget to reinstall the thrust washer onto the Bendix arm, which is over here. Put a new gasket onto your inner primary cover, carefully reinstall the outer primary cover, and don't forget to add approximately 200 cc's of the same oil that you're using in your engine oil bag.